I'm Eggy Drago. I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. I'm a part-time video store clerk, a part-time brawler. Oh yeah, and a full-time human being. Wow. When I went to Tokyo back in February 2024, I went to an idol concert on a whim because my VTuber Oshi, who graduated, was into that scene. Needless to say, I got hooked. We bought way too many checkies. So much so that we have 2 checky books. 2 checky namakans. All hail the checky namakan. All hail the checky namakan. All hail the checky namakan. After talking to a few idols, I realized every single one of them has a story, be it why they chased this dream, their ups and downs, and even their future after all this. And that's what I'm here to do. Learn more about the idol culture, the various scenes around the world, and to give them a platform to tell their stories. Every idol has a dream and a story to tell. This is IDOLEYEZ.
And I am Lace. I am the purple member of NoXia. Hello.
A solo idol who debuted in 2021 and started NoXia in 2023. We'll talk to Lace about her journey in the Sydney idol scene. All eyes on me. IDOLEYEZ, episode 35. Lace. Tonight, or this afternoon, if you're in Australia. Yeah. It's gonna load. It's gonna load up. There we go. Whoa! Well, I am the cream of the crop. I am the yolk on top. This is mighty Eggy Drago, and we are here with, the first IDOLEYEZ of 2025, and with me for this episode, I don't know where my head is. She is one half of NoXia. She is a bear witch. She is an amazing cosplayer. She cosplayed as Futaba once. This is Lace.
Hello.
How are you?
The Futaba cosplay mention is so funny.
Well, I had to do my research, so. How are you?
I am good. I am hot. It is hot in Australia right now. I don't know why. It's a sunny day.
Well, it is on the contrary. It's pretty cold here in Nevada, so hot and
I
cold.
wish.
No.
I would love to be there.
I don't like the cold, but
I love the cold.
but let's get this show on the road as I ask every single guest for the first question. Lace, who or what got you into idol culture / J-pop culture?
It's a length. It's kind of a lengthy story.
That's fine. IDOLEYEZ is for the yappers.
My high school, the secondary language that we had to learn was Japanese.
Wow.
And my school was different. It was both primary and secondary put together. So from kindergarten all the way to year 12, you were at the one school. So the main language in high school was Japanese. My older sister did the language before me, and so she would come home with all these Japanese things. And so I got into it very early. Found anime and manga. It was a little bit later that I found like J-pop. Specifically, it was actually when I went to Japan in 2012. But when I got home, trying to find J-pop on the internet,
it was dire. There's nothing, right?
No, and I'd search up like, oh, this group looks cool, and then the only videos I could find was like 30 seconds of a song. I was just like, nice, this sounds great, but it's not the whole thing. So like I came back from Japan, I knew of it, but I was just like, it's hard to find. I can't be bothered. Now when I really got into cosplay, I got into Vocaloid really bad. And so I'd listen to a lot of Vocaloid music, and then through cosplay, I found Muse. And the first time I saw them was at Smash 2018. But I'd seen them online, like in person, seeing them perform on stage. So it's complicated route. I kind of found Japan and Japanese culture before I found J-pop culture specifically. But yeah, long-winded answer.
I guess like all roads lead to like Muse Australia, because like you found, well, I guess you kind of found J-pop in the Sydney scene with Muse Australia. For me, I got, I guess, like connected with the Sydney Idol scene via Ria, who was formerly a part of Muse Australia. So very
like
weird.
I liked Love Live.
Yeah.
I liked it, but I wasn't as obsessed with it as everyone else was. Like I enjoyed it. I had plans to cosplay from it. I think most of them felt. But it was mainly just like, oh, these people are cosplaying and dancing and performing. That's cool. like you can like I love dancing, so like cosplay and dancing, put it together, and I'm like, you can do that.
So that would be around. So Smash, what year was it?
2018.
2018. Okay. So you were still cosplaying. You saw them at Smash. What really like got you like in the groove to like become an idol, or like to start going into those
Well,
activities?
it took me a while.
Okay.
At the time, there was a lot of like groups that did like the Love Live cosplay forming. But they were all, because like there's 9 set members. They're all full. They all had their 9 set members, and so I kind of was just like, oh, that's cool. I'll just support from the sideline. Like at that time I did not see it as like something I would be doing. I was just like, this is cool. I'm gonna follow these people and hopefully see their performances and just cheer and be like that. I would like to do that, but it didn't feel like a possibility. So not until like it would be 2020, I'm pretty sure,
So
when they changed from cosplay to like being themselves.
right. So around 2020, I guess. Do you want to say like Sunny's birthday live that year? Would that be like your first, very, 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 very first time like performing on stage, or like?
Oh, I mean, as an idol, yes.
As an idol, okay.
I've been dancing like most of my life. My family loved to tell me that as soon as I started walking, I was dancing. I had no shame, apparently. We'd go to, there's video of this. I don't have it, but like, there's video of like, going to like a shopping center, and there's like a busker, and I just stop and just start dancing. And my mom would just be like, oh, now I'm gonna be a dance mom. Like, oh no. So like I've performed a lot. I went to 3 different dance schools. I think I started when I was 3. And I did a lot of like end of year concerts, and also like I did a Stedfords. I was in like groups that went to competitions and all that. So I've always danced, and I knew what it was like to dance on a stage, but that's very different to idol.
Right.
Very, very different. You do not like the audience, not there. You do the choreography and then you leave.
Yeah, like yeah, because like you're just basically covering a choreo with like idol.
Yeah.
You are like covering a song, but like vocally, and also like with choreo, but like there's actual crowd interaction that needs to happen. So
Yeah,
I see. But like you did dance performances, and then I guess we can go into like Sunny's birthday live 2020. How did you like get in touch with Sunny, and like how did you like get a spot to perform?
I don't. That's like a lot. It feels a long time ago. I just remember getting a message. It was like just on Instagram. Like through cosplay, I met some of the other members, became friends with them. so I knew Sunny through them. Um, and then it's just an Instagram message, and I was just like, "That's cool, okay." So, like, 2020 was just such a weird year, like, because we were all forced inside, and no one really knew what to do. So, because the first ever like live, in my eyes, I don't know if it is for everyone else, but was the V-Day live at the start of 2020. Um, that was the first idol show that I went to, and blew my mind. And so but then we went right into lockdown. I think like a couple weeks after that. So it was just like, oh, this is so cool. This stage thing, we can have shows. And then you're trapped inside. So we just did, like, I didn't know it. I was just like, well, and I was doing uni at the time as well. So I was just trying to do my online classes. I was doing an arts degree. So trying to do art in an apartment where I can't really get much materials. And so, like, I was just like, I'm just trapped. I'm just going to do a few, like, I still practice, like, I pick some dances. And I was like, I'm just going to do this as a form of, like, exercise. Because, like, I can't go for a walk or anything. And I was like, I was doing, like, online, like, talking to people, just a little bit of socializing. And then, yeah, I got the message from Sunny. And I was like, oh, we're allowed to do a show? It was barely a show.
Barely.
It was, like the seating and like no cheering.
Yeah.
Limited tickets. Quietest stage I've ever been on. But it really pushed me. Once everything in the world is fixed, let's try and do this again.
But like, even when, because I do remember like Sunny talked about like the pandemic shows when it was still happening, and yeah, like limited seats, and like everyone was kind of spaced out, not a lot of crowd interaction. Either it was like only clapping and no yelling or something like that. So like
we had to change all our call and responses to like hand signal stuff, like Sunny's, because it was sunny day. You couldn't yell that, so they had like, you made like a sun. I just distinctly remember that because I was just like, how are we gonna do this? No one can yell. I don't even, my call response was terrible.
what?
I don't even remember how I changed. I made it like a symbol thing. I was just like, as soon as that show finished, I was like, I hate it. I'm changing it. No.
So with that live, do you remember what songs you performed?
Psychic Fire?
Oh.
I think. Oh god, this is really testing my memory. The funniest thing is, I remember dances for a long, well, like maybe not the whole dance, but I remember snippets of dances for a really long time. So I can remember like the dance moves, but I can't remember the name of the song. There was one that we had like ribbons.
Oh my god. I know the song you're talking about, but like I don't, because like
No.
I think like Muse did it in their Valentine's Day one, right?
Yeah.
So
and I remember watching it at the Valentine's Day live and going, "Oh my god, I love that song!" And then somebody was like, "We're doing this song," and I was like, but yeah, I remember the dances. I just don't remember the Oh.
So
I have bad memory with name, but muscle memory stays.
repetition.
Yes. Yeah.
So like after you perform, very surreal or very not normal in normal, like, you know, scenario, with like the crowd and everything. What were your like initial thoughts going off stage?
At the time, because there wasn't much to, there wasn't a blueprint, like there wasn't much to go off of. It was mainly Muse, a little bit of Etude, like there wasn't much happening, and so I was just always afraid of making mistakes. That was like my one fear. So a lot of the time, I kind of just blacked out. So I'm off stage and I go, did I do it? And they're like, yeah, you did it. And I was like, did I do good? And they're like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, because I have no recollection of what just happened on that stage. Because I'd have so much anxiety about messing up that I'd focus. And there wasn't really like a crowd to focus on. Everyone was dead silent, just clapping and far away. So like, I just really like focused in on that, like, don't mess this up. So I really don't remember. I just remember going off and going, is that good? So I can't really answer that question. Sorry.
It's all right. I guess like on a side note, I guess like it's a double-header question. So like the pandemic definitely affected everyone's idol activities. How did it affect yours? And also how did it really affect the idol scene back in 2020?
Well, for me, I didn't know what to do. There wasn't like a blueprint out there for like a lot of baby idols that come into the scene now. They have all these groups to look up to, and they're like, this group's doing this. I'll build up my stuff so I can get to that point. But back then, it was Muse who were trying their best with the circumstances. They brought in so many different things, like Checky. Well, from my perspective, there could have been like the AGS, but I didn't really know AGS much. But like for me, Muse brought in Checky, bromide sets, all that sort of stuff. So, but like other than that, it wasn't really much. It was like do some YouTube content, post photos on Instagram. Maybe one day we'll be able to do lives again. We had it once. So like for me, it was just like I just started like learning songs. I wasn't posting anything. I wasn't doing anything about it, but I was just like, all I can do right now is pick a bunch of songs and start learning them, and I might use them. We'll see. And I think a lot of the scene felt the same way. I know a lot of people were trying to do stuff, but unfortunately lots of setbacks.
Right.
But I know like Sunny was working hard with like creating Fable. So like things were happening. It was just very quiet.
So with that, pandemic is still happening. I guess we can like time skip to your official solo debut. So, you had your solo debut live on or around your birthday, August 21st, 2021. It was pushed back due to something.
Yes.
Yeah.
I had to move.
Oh.
Funny story. A month before, like I had planned the live, I had made all my graphics. I set all this stuff in stone. I talked about it while I was streaming, and then we got kicked out of our apartment.
Oh my god.
Well, they were like, "We're selling the apartment, so you need to leave. Here's a month.
Oh my
Find
god.
a new place." And we're just like, "Oh, lovely. Okay." So eventually we found this apartment that I'm in at the moment. But our move-in date was the 19th. So, like, I didn't want to do a live surrounded by boxes. Yeah, just no. So I was just like, I set this date, and now I have to move it. But it was on the 21st, and we moved it on the 19th, which was a Friday. No, not 19th. That's my actual. We moved it on the 13th, which is a Friday. I remember this because it was a Friday 13th. we moved in, and then I had basically a week to like get shit done. Like, and it was very stressful because I was like, I have to move it. I hope people aren't disappointed. I hope it doesn't interfere with people like being able to watch. A lot of like we were back in lockdown, so a lot of people were still stuck inside, but I was still like worried. But it all worked out. Thank God. But yeah, the reason I had to move the date was because I had to physically move everything.
So, like, what made you decide to officially debut?
So Fable debuted May, I think, that year. Just before we went back into lockdown. I think we went back into lockdown like June or July. So I was able to like go to the Fable debut show, and I was in the pit. That was the first time I was in the pit for a show too. I never went into the pit because I was just terrified. And then I remember who said it. I think it was Pudding Floss, one of the Muse members who was there. They were like, "Go in the pit. It's fun. I trust me." And I'm like, "Okay." So I was in the pit for that show, and it was pivotal for me. I was just like, "This is fun. I really like this. I think the community is going to come back." Little did we know we're going to go back in lockdown. At the time, I was like, "This is cool. I want to do this." And so I was like, "Do I do a debut show? Do I do a debut live?" And like, I was still so unknown in the community. Like, I was just worried. I was like, if I do the whole thing and no one comes, no one buys tickets, like, what would I do? Really up in my anxiety about it. And so I was streaming on Twitch. I started streaming because I was bored.
Oh, same.
So bored, and so I was like, wait, I could just do it on Twitch. And I don't need to stress as much about tickets. And that was a good idea because, again, lockdown. Everyone was stuck at home. So I was like, hey, this works. I think people will come watch, and way more people than I thought did. So it was very much like, okay, I've debuted. I can't leave. I've done this. So yeah, that was. I think it ended up being a good choice. I didn't know, but like, it was fueled by anxious thoughts. But it turned out to be like a good thing, and like, I think it showed people that we could still do stuff. You didn't have to do it live. Well, you could do it live, but you didn't have to do it in person. Like Twitch, like we're on here right now. Like it's a good platform to use.
For sure. I guess like since you did perform live streamed on Twitch to like multiple people around the country or around Sydney, I guess. How would you compare that to like the first performance that you did with at Sunny's Live, where it was limited and like everything was kind of
I mean, it had its similarities.
Right.
You didn't have a crowd of people in front of you. It was still quiet, just music. So there wasn't much difference in that. Like, there wasn't really like interaction like with a pit like we do have now. So I think it was a comfortable like move into, despite like how weird the Sunny Birthday Live was with lockdown. Because I would sometimes see the chat, but I was mainly performing to a camera. So, like, similar. No pit to bounce off of until like I would watch the live afterwards and be able to like read the chat and be like, oh, people liked that. Good. Or people were unsure. Like, you get the feedback afterwards. You kind of just go for it in the moment.
So when I was trying to look for footage for this live, usually like, you know, with Fable, they have like their events on the highlights tab in their Twitch account. I looked through your thing. uh, you know, just Bioshock, and I tried to find it. It's not there, so uh,
Um,
yeah.
yeah.
Do you have like a?
There's a reason why.
Oh, okay. Do you
It
want to?
wasn't that great. It was not
Oh.
great.
Oh.
Like I'm sure it was fine for the time. I didn't know what I was doing. I did like 5 songs, so like it wasn't much. And I got a lot of feedback afterwards, so it was a really good learning moment. When I look at it, I'm just like, wow, I didn't know what I was doing. Like it was great. There is some info out there. I've still got the posts, and I have the set list on my Instagram. I'm pretty sure. But I didn't want to save that VOD. I downloaded onto my computer, but I was like, we'll just make this an elusive thing that if you were there, you were there. And then we just don't talk about it. But I'm glad I did it. Even though it wasn't the best planned, like, online show, I'm still glad that I did it. One of my favorite things that I did was, it was because it was just me. I did little breaks between not every song, but a couple songs to catch my breath. I learned afterwards from Christy of Fable that it's like it ruined the momentum of the show, and I was like, oh, I'm sorry, I just needed to sit for a bit. But what despite that, I got a you know those graduation bears that's like
with like the heart, or like has the cap?
No, like they're like canvas and you can write on them.
Oh,
with, like marker.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got one of those because they're idol. I got one of those and I wrote a bunch of like people that inspire me and goals that I had. And that was really cute because I always look back at that. I still have it. And like I wrote on the back of it, like, perform at Smash was like the #1 thing for me. So the fact that I've done that twice now and looking back at like that debut and thinking that was what I wanted to do, and I'm just like, wow, I did that. So even though it did ruin the momentum of like the songs in the show, like I'm glad that I like made something to help me look back on my journey. So but it was still a mess of a show. But that was the first time that I performed Fansa by Honeyworks. And that's, I've heard from a lot of people, that's their one of their favorite like solo songs for me. So that was the first time I performed that. And then I recorded a dance cover video of it. And then that became my first YouTube cover.
Yeah.
So
I think I put in the intro, but like, yeah, like in the description, you were like, I performed this at my debut, and like I wanted to do it again. So
yeah. I love that song. I haven't done it in a while. I really should bring that back next time I have a solo set. But that's probably the bear and doing Fansa and realizing that like everyone loved Fansa and everyone loved me doing it, and I was like, oh, I should practice this more. I should use this. Like I should cover and like not like bring it back out, not just use it at the show and then never do it again. So I think I have 2 songs, no, 3 actually, 3 out of 5 songs on that set list that I did do it again after that.
I mean, like, you know, debut lives, of course, even like debut anything, like debut streams, debut concerts. Of course, there's gonna be scuff. Everyone's gonna make mistakes, but at least you got out of the way. And now you're here.
Yeah.
3-4 years.
It's a learning moment.
Yeah.
You need to have those. So, like, I don't regret the mess of a situation it was. I just see it as like, if that didn't happen, I wouldn't have learned so much.
Right. So you did that. Debut live done. I guess we can kind of skip like into when Sydney reopened back up after lockdown. What was the very first show that you performed at with like an actual crowd?
It wasn't Idol.
Oh.
It was actually a K-pop summit. In 2022. I did it with Sunny, Mayhem, and Nae. We formed a little group of idols who also like K-pop. With a group called Iris. And because Sunny Sunny jumping into my DMs, going, "Hey, I want to do this really cutesy song at K-pop Summit, and I want it to be with like other idols. Would you want to do this with me?" And so I was like, oh, that sounds like fun. I've never done that before. So did that. It was great. That's where I first met Mayhem and Nae. That was before they joined Fable. Just before. They got into Fable literally in the middle of that. And so I was just like, cool, I have more friends. I have more Fable friends. And so we did that, and it was really, really fun. We did a song. I think I sent you a clip of it. Very, very cutesy, like magical girl song. And that was really fun. And then I think after that, it was my next birthday live after that. Spellbound, which I instantly was like, "Hey Fable, do you like to guess?"
Mayhem and Christy and Naya were there.
Sunny was supposed to be, but unfortunately things came up, so they couldn't join in. But it was just really funny having them rock up to my apartment and just be like, "All right, what do you need from me?" And I love that show. It was chaotic. There was no singing. It was just dancing. It was chaos, but it was a lot of fun. And then I think the next time I was on stage was Sugar Rush. So it was very jumpy, like doing different things. Sugar Rush was like the start of like me doing a lot of shows. Over and over, like I was just like, next show, and I was like, okay, this is a lot. So but yeah, but after my debut it was K-pop, so that was really cool. I made lifelong friends.
How was it like after so long, like performing in front of an actual crowd?
Well, K-pop Summit is
different. Yes.
Different. The stage, the way that like the hall, like the concert hall that they use, the stage is ground level and the seats go up. So, and it's the lights are so bright you don't see anyone. You see dark figures in front of you, and it's like, and sometimes you might see like a K-pop like pen line in the darkness, and you're like, okay, this is fine. So that it didn't really change anything. It was still like looking straight forward and do the dancey dance. And then another streamed show, which is the same. It was a little bit more lively though, having Fable there. It wasn't just me. So I got out of my shell a bit more for that one. And then Sugar Rush, that was when it was like, oh, this is different. There's people in front of me, and they're very close, and they're smiling at me, and I'm like, ooh. I had to learn, definitely not at Sugar Rush, I did not learn this, but afterwards I learned that I stood dead center in the stage, which was a little bit too far. Like, I was like pinpoint center of stage, and I was like, I need to move closer. I still have the issue of it sometimes. I think I've gotten better, but that's when I was really like, oh, I'm used to like standing in, like when I cover my YouTube, I do my YouTube covers. I literally take a little X where I need to be standing.
Right.
Because on a camera with framing. And so I would do that on live on stage, and I go, no. They want to see me. I need to move closer. So, like, I was still learning a lot, but it was a nice like experience, and it was a small crowd. It was in October, and it was during one of the biggest conventions in Australia, PAX. So a lot of people had gone down to Melbourne to go to PAX. So it was a small crowd, but it was really nice. Like everyone was really inviting, and it didn't feel scary. So I'm glad that was like my reintroduction to how the pit should be, not just quiet sitting down. So it was a good start. But yeah, turbulent.
Very much indeed. With that, you continue to do some solo shows. But then kind of want to ask, like, was there any notable shows in between I guess lockdown, reopening, and then the creation of NoXia?
There was notable, like I got into Smash, and so I ticked my goal of getting into Smash, and it was really funny. I had applied to perform at Smash the year before I got it, and I got rejected, and I was like, that sucks. I'll just keep working harder. And then the next year came, and I had like, it was like a sore spot of like, I didn't get in last year. I don't know if I've improved that. Maybe I'll just wait until next year and just improve. And I said that to Sunny, and Sunny got really mad at me. They're like, what do you mean you're not applying? And I'm like, what do you, like, I should keep growing. And Sunny's like, how dare you say this about my friends? You have grown. Apply. I was like, okay. And so I applied and had no expectations. I was like, nah, I'm probably not going to get in, but at least Sunny's not going to beat me for not doing it. So I was just like, nah. And then I got the email that I got in, and then I just started crying, and then I called Sunny, and I was like, got in, and they're like, I told you. So that was a big moment, because I did not believe. I don't know why. I did not believe in myself when I should have. I'm glad Sunny pushed me, because I got that dream of before they get Smash, and it was such a fun performance, like especially getting to do Idolu on like that big stage and get it and see all the water boys like the white sticks and go ham, and I'm just like, yay, I gotta keep dancing. So that was incredible. I will still forever love like my set list for that one. I like with Smash, they like to prioritize like anime songs. If you have them, put them in there. So it was a very like anime heavy set, and I really loved it. I would love to do that set again. It was Kawaii Kute Gomen, Aiduru, and then Ne 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 Ne. Which is one of my favorite songs to perform, because I love Nene. She's my favorite VTuber. So like introduced, like being able to do that Smash, and then everyone going like, that song's so crazy, but I love it. And I'm like, it's a great song. You should look at the VTuber. But the Smash set, my highlight. Like I loved a lot of the other shows that I did. But Smash was the goal, so it will always be up there. Like, I did it. I did that. So, yeah.
So that would have been July or August of 2023, right? For Smash.
Yeah.
Okay.
End of June.
End of June. Okay.
Yeah.
So after that, cause like it would have been that, and then NoXia would have debuted around late October. So I guess we can get into that. When did you have like the first inkling to decide that you wanted to start a group?
I don't remember if it was before or after Smash, but I started having a thought of like, I think it was after getting into Smash. And I was like, that I did the goal. I did it. That was my number one goal. And I'm like, what am I gonna do now? What am I achieving? Like, what am I reaching for? And I think I was the only soloist in the community at the time. Well, I think Wooly just started because Wooly came to Sydney to join Neonism, and then that didn't happen. And well, they debuted, but then the other two members left. So Wooly was, I think they were starting doing solo, but everyone else was group. And so I saw everyone else improving, and I felt like I wasn't. I felt like I was at the edge, like at the point, and I wasn't growing anymore. And I was scared of singing by myself. I tried it a couple times. I wasn't confident, so it didn't sound great. And it was just a struggle to do a whole song on my own. And so I was like, I need to maybe contemplate a group, but I'm not sure if that's gonna happen. And I was having lunch with Sunny one day in Sydney, and I brought it up, and I was like I thought about it, but I don't think it's gonna happen. I don't think anyone wants to, like, there's I don't know anyone that needs to be in a group. I don't know anyone that wants to come in. So like, it's probably not gonna happen. I'll just probably continue doing this. And Sunny was like, no. Again, coach. Like, so I was like, no, we can do that. We can definitely do that. And I'm like, do you think? And they're like, well, the worst thing could happen is no one auditions and you continue doing solo. Like, you know, it wasn't the right time. No one reached out, so you just continue, and that'll be it. There's no harm. I was like, I think we could try that. And so they were the biggest help. All of Fable was, but Sunny specifically was like, Sunny's always been my cheerleader, but also the person's like smack sensitive. Like, and I'm sure I help. I do the exact same. I'll forever cheer for Sunny. Even if I lost my voice, I would cheer for Sunny. So that really helped me go like, well, you could try. And it did end up turning into something which is lovely. And I'm really happy that it did. But it just started with like, maybe.
Well, it's good that Sunny really pushed you to like audition for, like apply for Smash, and then now create NoXia. So very good.
Well, also Sunny helped me get into like high bonds as well. Like Idolebox. Like the first Idolebox I was in was Idolebox 3, and Sunny was like, "Hey, if you need any other act, here's this person." So like, Sunny is just wants to help, like the whole community. So, and I've been very lucky to receive a lot of help. They are really just like a pinnacle. Like, they just want to help. They just want to see the community thrive, and it's helped me. So I appreciate them so much.
So, had that lunch with Sunny. Sunny pushed you to create a group. How did you? Well, doubleheader. How did you come up? Going back a teeny tiny bit, because I forgot to ask. How did you come up with your stage name? And also, how did you come up with the group name NoXia?
Stage name, Little Lace Doll has been my username as soon as I got onto social media. It actually came from I watched. It's really random. I watched the movie Sucker Punch, where all the characters' names were like nicknames, and I really liked like the fact that the main character's name Baby Doll. I was like, oh, that's really cute, but not for me. But that's really cute. I like that like concept, like that style of like nickname, and so I made Little Lace Doll. Little because I am short. I am 5'1". Lace because I I love sewing and art and crafting. And if you take me to a fabric store, you will lose me in the lace and ribbon section. I won't want to leave. So I just love like pretty textile things like that. And doll because I was cosplaying. I didn't want cosplay in my username. So I used doll as like dressing up. Like I'll change how I look, what I'm doing. So. And then in the cosplay community, because it's a long username, even though it's 3 short words, it's a long username. So people would just shorten it to, oh, are you Lace? Are you Little Lace Doll? People already kind of picked it as the middle. And so I just kind of stuck with it. And I was just like, you know what? That works. And people already are doing it. So I don't want to have to change. And I have really grown to love that stage name. I respond to it better than my actual name, which is really funny. It feels more like my name. So I'm glad that people picked it as like the word out of the 3 to associate with me, because I feel like it really. So, and for NoXia, continuing on, I'm bad at naming things. Like I can't remember the names of songs. And I didn't even pick my own stage name. People kind of just did it for me. Like when Sunny asked, like, if you want to do a group, what do you want your concept to be? And I was like, I like dark aesthetics. I'm very like cutesy and I did a lot of cutesy stuff for my solo stuff. But like, even at the end of like, well, not the end, but like in 2023, I went into a lot of darker solo things as well. Because I like that juxtaposition of like being really cutesy, but the song's really dark, or like you have like a dark backstory sort of thing. And I love the K-pop group Dreamcatcher.
Oh, yeah.
I love them so much. They're not my number 1 K-pop group. That will always go to Girls' Generation because they were my first K-pop group. I love them. But like Dreamcatcher is like second, like, and it's close. So I love Dreamcatcher, especially the earlier concepts. They've gone into more like superhero stuff recently, but I love like those early concepts of like the dark, witchy aesthetic.
Yeah. Like Chase Me.
So I was like
that early, like 2017, 2018, like Dreamcatcher was
Chase
like
Me is, I think, one of my favorites. Yeah. And Deja Vu and just like all their songs. I like, and I've seen them live and they were incredible. And so I was like, my team was like, what concept? And I'm like, Dreamcatcher, but all J-pop. Like, that's what I really wanted. I think it boils down to like ethereal gothic style, maybe a little bit of like romantic gothic, but like it's not completely dark. There are some lights in our concept, but I think it's very ethereal, with like whites, blacks. I love like stained glass windows and like cages and like gothic architecture. Like that, I'm obsessed with it. So I was just like, this vibe. I literally made a Pinterest board, and I had pictures of Dreamcatcher on there, and I was like, this, Sunny here, and they're like, okay, I get you. And no one was doing that at the time, so Sunny was really like, that's a good idea. I like this. So the name came about after a show. I think it was an Idol Box. I think it was Idol Box 4. We like to have dinner after a show. So we were just sitting, having food, having malatang most of the time. And Sunny was like, "What do you think of a name?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm really bad at that." So, like, me naming artworks for like my uni, it was like that was harder than making art. I was just like, I don't know what to name this thing. So it's like, Sunny, I'm no help. I am not. This is not my forte. So we just started like bouncing random stuff, and I don't remember who said it because we were all tired and we're all talking. But I think it came from Googling, like, lux. The Latin word lux means light. And we were like, what's the opposite of that? What's Latin? That could be fun. And Google it, and it's nox. Nox means night or darkness. And it just came from there. I think, like, we made other connotations afterwards of like, oh, like it could be like noxious if you want to really go like really dark. And I was like, it's a bit bit much. But it really came from like that Latin of like nox, and then you just add ear, and then it's a name, and it's lovely. And then I just ran home and got on my tablet and made a bunch of logo designs. So many logo designs, and just sent them to study. And I was like, here you go. I did the thing. You came up with the name. I did the art side of it. And in the middle was the NoXia with the cross on its side, because I didn't want it to be straight up, because I didn't want it to look like a T. But I also didn't want it to be like fully cross, so I broke it so that like it shows like the X with a little bit of like coming off. And so I was like, this one, this one, middle, no other option. And I was like, okay. So they were really just a big help, like bouncing board of I'm bad at making decisions. I get so stressed about, even though like there is no wrong decision, but I just get so stressed about it. I'm like, what if I do the wrong thing? What if I make the wrong decision and it doesn't turn out well? So having that sounding board of like, I did this, what do you think? And they coming back in caps locks like, yes! I'm like, okay. So that's how like the name and the logo and everything went about.
So we got the name, we got the logo, foundation, but you needed a second person or another person in the group. So
Yes.
you got Lily on board. I do want to say you guys technically crossed paths at Sugar Rush,
Yep.
but you didn't perform together yet, but you just crossed paths.
We did a collab song at the end with Sunny and Naya. We did Caramel Dancing, which is very funny. But yeah, we both did a solo set. So like, yeah, we didn't perform together. I remember being in the pit for Lily's set. For most of it, I was right afterwards, so I had to like scoot by the end. But I remember being in that pit and just being like, this is great. I love the vibes. At the back of my brain, I was like, does wearing a wig like that hurt? But I was just like, yeah, this is great. I love the outfit. Very cute. Good times. And I met Lily. Well, not me. I saw Lily. I had exchange a few words. After that, at a K-pop summit. I think it was the start of 2023. So yeah, because Lily always wore a wig for idol stuff, so I did not recognize her. And I was just chilling with Sunny because I was invited. It was Sunny's K-pop group, and they were doing Picky Picky. by Weki Mickey, and they needed more people. So, so he's like, "You want to do this?" And I was like, "Sure." You can drag me into a lot of things. If I'm free, I'm probably gonna say yes. So we were just chilling, and suddenly he's like, "Hey, look, it's Lily. Remember from Sugar Rush?" And I'm like, "Oh, hi." But they were working at the time, because they helped organize K-pop Summit. So it was a brief hi, and then we went off. So that was like the main 2 times that we like spoke. And then for when talking to Sunny about NoXia, and I was again worrying like, what if people don't audition? Like, what? Like, and so I was like, again, if nothing happens, nothing happens. You just keep going. But I have someone in mind. I was like, oh, okay, cool. Like, it's just like, and I didn't know that Lily was like leaving Pearlescent Star. So Sunny was like, yeah, I shot the audition sheet to Lily. And I was like, oh, from Sugar Rush. So I was like, yeah. And I was like, I thought they were in a group. So I was like, almost not. Like, they're like soon got to be. And I was like, oh, Sunny hears a lot of things. Sunny knows. So I think Lily did say something. I can't remember the things, but I think Lily was like, yeah, I'm planning to leave. And so she's like, oh, well. So yeah, and then we had a little dinner. We always like to do things over dinner, it seems. But so we had a dinner, mother tongue again, and sat down and was just like, so is this gonna work? And just like talked about like all of like the behind the scenes, like idol group stuff. It was all organized and it all came down, like the timing was correct and it all worked out. So very, very lucky. A few other people did like apply, but not like Sunny and I were really very much like, I have a lot of dancing experience. You kind of need someone that also has dancing experience. Otherwise, it's a lot harder. And like, it was kind of like, we want to debut this year. If this group is happening, we are debuting this year. So it's like, we need to find dancers. You can both kind of learn the like practice the singing stuff afterwards, but you need to be on par for dancing. Otherwise, you look out of sync and all that sort of stuff, especially with like 2 people. So it worked out, and I'm very happy for it. Very, very happy for it. It was a lot of like anxiety on my end, but it all worked.
So yeah, so you guys debuted at Fablephobia 2, October 2023. What was that like performing for the first time as a duo?
It was, the lead up was really stressful. I'm not gonna lie. We were planning our debut video cover to come out on the 10th, 10/10. Like we were like doing that whole like ooh numbers. So we were really working hard to make sure Fake Ruler was really good quality for the video. Sunny made our costumes in like a week. It was chaotic as hell. I thank goodness those costumes were corseted, lace up. But it was lace up and then pinned in at the back. It was just like chaos. So we worked really hard on one song, and then afterwards they were just like, so you get a 20-minute set, so you need 4 songs. And we're like, oh, okay, cool. So we learned 3 songs between the 10th, 30th. It was really like stressful, just trying to make sure we were like ready. I was also just worried because it's a very different concept to what I was doing. So I was just like, in the back of my brain, I was like, what if people don't like it? What if people are upset that I'm well, not upset, but people just like, oh, you're normally really cute and now you're yelling at me. Not sure how I feel about this. So I was just like really just worried. I really enjoyed it, so I really wanted everyone else to enjoy it. And they did. I think it was because I enjoyed it. I was like, I love these songs. I'm having a blast doing this concept. I'm having a blast being in a group, like sharing a stage, not always like being like center is nice for a change. Having time to like breathe. Because as a soloist, I would go full like all energy, and then I'd just collapse off stage because I wouldn't have any time to rest, like just stand and take a breath. But in a group, you kind of have those little moments, very very short, but like it makes a lot of difference. So it went like I was worried a lot, and then it was really great. And everyone was like super energetic. I could feel that like my love of the music was like going into the pit, and they were feeling it, and they were like, "Yeah, this is great." So despite like the lead up being very stressful, it all turned out well. So I was very happy. It was a good debut. I'm glad we did it that way.
Well, it's great that you debuted, even though it was a little bit hectic with the costumes, with preparing 3 other songs, apart from like the cover that you released on YouTube. But afterwards, I guess getting the ball rolling, NoXia as a thing now. I think we talked about it. I talked about it with Lily, but you guys, it's a joint effort to like find songs to cover as NoXia. What songs specifically that you chose were stuff that you guys covered and performed as NoXia?
Miss Alida Edison songs, definitely. I love Alida Edison. They are no longer. Still so sad about it. They were my favorite group ever in J-pop. Like, I love them a lot, and so I had a bunch of songs. I still have a bunch of their songs on like Dream Perform. So I suggested a couple. I first suggested Yamiochi, which I still really want. Such a fun song. But we settled on Six Pain because it was a 4-member song, so it was easy to divide into 2. And it had a lot of like back forth. So it was very much like, oh, this is pretty easy to divide. And the dance, they performed it, I think it was in a shopping center, like one of those shopping center mini shows. And there was just a clear video of the choreography, which is like, yes, nice and easy. So that was my suggestion. Obviously, it was a group effort to like divide it and all that stuff. I'm very happy we did that because I love Six Pain. It's such a fun song to perform. I think it's my favorite. Like, I know I'm a little biased because they're my favorite group, but the pit just goes crazy. And like, it's just so fun with the kiru, kiru, ikiru, kiru, and like pointing the mic and just having someone from the pit. I'm just like, yes. And the other song was, well, kinda. I loved Gaga Piero. Again, another group lost to us. Well, they're not at the moment, but they are graduating. I followed them since debut, and so I suggested their debut song, Shinen Dokuso. And I was like, we could do this one. It's really cool. That song's hard. And also, there's a music video for it. They performed it live at their debut show, and they've never performed it again.
That's it?
Yep.
That's it?
And we could not find that video. That one performance at their debut show, they've never done it again. They've never touched it. So we're just like, we tried making choreo, and it just didn't work. So we're like, okay, we have to, like, this, like, Lily is an amazing dancer and teaches dancing. So a lot of the time, if we have to make stuff up, I go like, Lily, if you have an idea, I'm all ears. Like, I'm happy for you to like conjure something, because you do that every week, teaching kids. So, even Lily was like,
No.
no. So I'm like, okay, let's find something else. And it was actually, it was actually Sunny who suggested Knockout, because we were finalizing our set list, and it was, Fake Ruler, Six Pain, and Paradita Dance by Icole. And like, Fake Ruler and Six Pain were quite dark. And then Paradita was like, woo, party, like dancing, like jumping. And so Sunny was like, you need to balance this out. And we're like, okay. So Sunny was like, hey, you know that group that you're not doing the song anymore? What about this song? And it was Knockout. And they had a dance video. Still not a like still camera. The camera still moved around towards the members, but we could work with it better than a music video. And so we were like, yeah, sure. And Knockout I think is our most performed song. Mainly because the lyrics are gibberish. The lyrics do not make sense. We've tried to like try and be like, what are they talking about? Don't know. So it's a safe song. Just unfortunately, Six Pain is very dark. It has some themes hidden in the lyrics. And so like sometimes we're like for Baby Beard and for Smash, we're like, we can't. Just in case. No. So Knockout's been used because it's very just like, it's just fun. Lyrics crazy, but lots of fun. So thankful for like I found Gaga Piano, but Sunny found
I guess we talked about like, well, you talked about briefly I guess the pros and cons of being a soloist compared to being a duo. Like, you have like more breathing time, I guess, as a duo. There's a lot more room for error, even though there probably shouldn't be. But like as a duo, you know, you can kind of make mistakes, and some
you can fudge it.
Yeah,
you can just be like, woo, whoopsie.
But is there like anything else? I guess like, what are some other pros and cons performing as a soloist and then performing as a duo?
Spacing on a stage is a big difference. Normally when you're solo, you kind of just you stick to the middle. You try and move around, and that can be really difficult depending on the size of the stage. Like Smash stage is huge. When I did my solo set at Smash, it was very funny. I always tell this to my friends after the fact. They didn't notice it, but I at one point ran to one side of the stage to do like, I don't know, I think it was in Nene where I was like waving at people. And then my brain was like, all right, time to run to the other side of the stage. I look and it's so far away. And I'm like, whoo! I didn't even make it to like the exact same point on the other side. I just went, yeah, this is fine. I need to go back into the middle. So that's hard trying to like, especially if there's people on every edge of the stage, you struggle to be able to connect to everyone because you can't make it. If you're gonna do the choreography, you can't always make it to every person. So the size of the stage makes it hard as a soloist. Whereas in a group, the size of the stage is better, but you have to like kind of have peripheral vision of your other person to be like, am I in the right spot? And also, especially because being a duo, you have a lot of songs where you like cross paths. You have to be like, okay, we're not gonna run into each other. No, we're like, you gotta traffic situations of like, we're not going to knock each other or trip each other or anything like that. So while the stage, like reaching everyone on the stage is easier, just making sure that you know where the other person is and you're in the right spot, you're doing the right, like the same thing, especially if we mirror each other or like are doing the exact same moves. So you're just making sure you're on the right time. You have to have good peripheral vision, I think. which is an interesting skill that I was like, oh, didn't think. I do have good peripheral vision, so I was very lucky. But I was just didn't expect that. So for like on the stage, that's very different. Also, like doing an MC on your own versus with another person. Like you don't want to talk over each other, so you kind of like sometimes there's a little awkward pause. Like Sunny, like, and I've seen this in other groups as well. Like one person will do their intro, and then there's like a little pause, and I go, okay, like, and Faye will do the same. Every other group, you don't notice it until you. I didn't notice it as a soloist. I was just like, because I was just like blah, 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 blah. Not very well, but like I would do my best. But then you just hear like, Lily, I really am the blue member. I'm Lace. So like, but I don't think that's the worst. It's just something that I picked up now. Of like, oh yeah. Well, some groups have it timed really well, but you can still kind of pick up the. And you're like, okay, it's not just me.
I guess going into like retrospect a little bit, what would you think is the toughest performance that you've done as a group and or as a soloist?
As a group, it was definitely Smash. Last year. Cons are always daunting because there's a lot more people, people that have no idea what the hell is going on. You also like so much happening. Timing is so specific. Like if the group goes over, then your set is later, like a little bit later, sort of stuff. And so you kind of just have to go with it, which is my brain doesn't like. My anxiety does not like that. I need to know what's going on. So like having to just sit there and accept it is what it is. This is how the day is gonna go. And the first Smash performance I did was a little bit calmer because I wasn't singing. I was just dancing. I had the mic for my MC, and then I gave it back, and then just danced. So I had that. I even though I had done it before, I had an extra layer to think about of like, oh, I have a microphone this time. And even though I had done a bunch of shows, singing with NoXia, it was very like I was just like, ooh. And then unfortunately, I'm setting up merch beforehand, and then Lily comes and is like, barely has a voice. Oh. And I'm like, oh no. Like, I'm sorry, I'm sick. And I'm like, it's okay, we'll just do our best. Like, cause what else can you do? Like, so it was. I think that was the toughest performance. Just having myself just try and relax and just accept what's gonna happen out of my control. Just gotta do it. Just gotta go with it. As a soloist, I think it was definitely my first Idolbox 3, which was after Sugar Rush. Definitely after. And that was really hard. It was my first Idolbox, first Taiwan show. And there was 5 performers. I was the only soloist. Everyone had a 30-minute set.
Whoa! Oh my god.
Yep. So I had 6 songs, all by myself. And then I get there and I'm opening, and I'm like, lovely. This is great. Everything's gonna be fine. I barely performed on stage. I'd never done a set that long. Like Sugar Rush, I did 3 songs. The show between them, I think it was Battle Tokyo, I did 2 or 3. I think it was 3. So like 6 songs, double. I was like, I've never done this. One after the other. I had 2 MCs to kind of breathe. And that was the first time that I performed Idoru by Yoasobi, and I was really nervous because Achinoko was so popular, and at that time no one in the Sydney community had covered the song, and so I'm there opening, with this very, very popular song that I think at the time I was like, am I the first person doing this song? And so the pressure was immense. And I remember we off stage there was like a little like not a curtain, like a little barrier so we could just hide behind stage. Backstage. And I just remember being there with my water bottle, shaking. Like, oh my goodness, it's happening. And I had friends coming also, and they were running late. And I was like, I'm first. And my friends are gonna miss it. And so it was a lot of factors. Really, really anxious. Like I'm anxious thinking about back to it. I was like, oh. And it was really lovely. The organizer of the event came up to me and they were like, are your friends here? And I'm like, no, I think they're like running. They're sprinting. And they're like, it's okay, we'll hold off a few minutes. I was like, oh, thank you. So my friends made it, which was lovely. And I did the show, did the 30-minute set. Wild. I don't I have it all recorded, so that's how I remember. Once again, woo, memory gone. So I just remember doing Idol and being scared. It was my third song in the set list. I did an MC just before it. So I was like, I need to breathe. I need to make sure I have energy to do the song justice. And the pit went like absolutely wild. And that's the only part I remember in the set list because it was such an important moment of like, I'm doing the song that I love. I love Oshinoko. It's one of my favorite animes. I cry every time I watch it. So being able to do this song and everyone loving it instantly, and I was just like, how hard the performance was got better because of that moment. And that's the cover that's on my YouTube channel. That's that performance that I have of Idol. Because I had such a clean video of it that I was like, I don't have to re-record this. I should show that I do stage performances as well. So that was great. And if you watch it, you can see Fable right in the middle. Where you can see the colorful space uniforms. And they made a TikTok. They made a TikTok of like idols support idols because they had that clip of them being in the pit for me, and then the next clip is me being in the pit for their set. And so like, yes, that was a really tough show. Like, I don't understand why I did 30 minutes. I did it, crazy, but like, it's still like a big moment for me. Of like, I did a song that I absolutely love. I got a really good like connection with the audience, and I got really good support from my friends. So it was worth it. The other thing is, I ran off stage afterwards, collapsed, and I have asthma. So
oh my God.
I didn't bring my puffer backstage. So I was just laying on the floor, like trying to not pass out. And I just remember people like running, going, "Where's Lisa's bag? Where's their puffer?" So very tough, but a very rewarding show at the same time. And I think that goes hand in hand all the time. You think things are really hard in the moment, and then after a while you think back and go, I still love that moment, even though I hated it at the time.
Would you consider that your favorite performance of all time, or do you have like another performance that you consider?
It's top 3 for me. I loved NoXia performing for Baby Beard. That show was just so much fun. We only did 2 songs, but I absolutely loved every second. The stage was really cool. I loved the setup of like stage, and then there was a little box so you could like jump on and like really be like around the crowd. and it was just really fun. There was so many people that obviously were there for Baby Beard, but they were able to see like the community we had here in Sydney. And we got a lot of like people coming up to us afterwards and like asking. And at the time we just got business cards. And we were going through them. And I was like, shit, do we need to go get more? Like, we just got these printed. I need to go back and get more of these. So it was just a really fun stage. And then top it all off, like the cherry on top with that set, like that show was afterwards I got a checky with everyone. I love checky. Oh. So I got checky with Pyda, Amuse, and Baby Beard. And I stood in the queue in my NoXia costume. And I get to the, like, I'm next in the queue. And, like, one of the employees was, like, checking token. Like, you paid for this? And I go, yep. And she looked at my costume and she goes, you performed today? And I was like, yeah, I did. Like, oh, were you the group that did Knockout? I was like, yeah. And they're like, you should bring that up to Baby Beard. Suzu is friends with Gaga Piero. Oh. And I was like, what? and the employee was like, yeah, bring it up, because Suzu heard you performing Knockout and got really, really excited. And so I was like, oh, okay. I was like, oh no. So I went up and like said hi and got techie. And then I brought it up to Suzu, like, yeah, Gaga Piero, you did Gaga Piero. And I was like, yeah. And they're like, I'm so happy that like people in Australia know Gaga Piero. I'll tell them. It's like, what? Apparently, like, she tried to like run out to like see us, but wasn't able to. But like heard, like, listen, and I was like, insane. That's crazy. And I wouldn't have known unless I spent money and got you. But I love that chick. We all did like the Kuma pose and seeing Lady Baby doing like Kuma. I was like, yes. But my number one favorite show, like Baby Beard was second. My number one favorite show is my Spellbound birthday show. Because that was the show that I found like my footing as a soloist. Because before then I was doing like, my aesthetic was like bear, still bear, but I was very much like comfy, cozy, like I want like be comfortable and like very sweet. And I got sick of it. And I was like, there's not much here. There's not much substance. There's not much to work with. Pretty stock standard. So I moved into like doing like the witchy concept, like a witchy magical girl kind of like combination. And Spellbound was the first show that I did that. And like I love the graphics that I made for that. My absolute favorite with the tarot cards. And having like the Fable members pick their own tarot cards, which was really funny at the time because I messaged like, "Hey, I'm doing this for the promo. What tarot cards do you want for yourself? I'm the star." And Sunny was like, "Is that a question?" I was like, "All right, so you're the sun. Okay, next." Like, it's like, whoops, should have thought of that. And Christy's just like, "What's the most chaotic card?" And I'm like, well, Mayhem just picked it, so you can get the second one. I love those graphics. That show was just so much fun, just being able to perform with my closest friends. Performing with Christy, who is my mama bear, who has inspired, well, all of Fable have inspired me, but Christy inspired me from V-Day Live onwards. I was like, when I debuted, I was like, I want to do bear, but Christy's a bear. Christy's a purple bear, and I want to be a purple bear. Am I allowed to, like, is this okay? Like, I don't want to step on toes. And I messaged, and Christy's like, you're stupid. And I'm like, oh. Okay. They're like, it's fine. It's fine. You're my baby. And I'm like, okay. So I always think of it as Christy's an actual bear and I'm a teddy bear. Like, that's our vibes. So having Christy at that show, but also just having Fable, unfortunately not Sunny, but Sunny was in the chat, Sunny was cheering, and just like that show felt like even though it wasn't my debut, I debuted before that, but that show felt like the actual start for me. I felt like I knew what I wanted. I solidified the aesthetic that I liked. I was performing songs that I was happy with. So that show means so much to me.
It's good that like Baby Beard performance definitely performing like or opening for like an act like Baby Beard's very significant, and then also like Spellbound, even though like the debut wasn't but
It
like,
was something.
At least you redeemed yourself with Spellbound, so that's good.
Yeah, and Baby Beard was just a shock. We didn't expect. I think I put our application in the day before it closed. Because we were just like it'd be cool, but we probably wouldn't. Like, it was very much like me at Smash. I was like, well, we were both kind of like, and then the people running it did like a story thing of like, who would you like to see on the stage opening for Baby Beard? And we were like the second mention. We're like, oh, should we? And so I was rushing, like trying to get it in. I was sending Lily screenshots. I'm like, does this sound good? Is this good? And they're like, yeah. And I was like, okay, it's gone. I'm done. So like we didn't have high expectations. So I think that also helps them making it like such an important thing. That were just like, it was a surprise and it was like great fun, and it all worked out well. So like I think that's a big reason why I think we both find it really important.
I see. I guess going back into the present a teeny weeny bit. I guess I did talk about it with Tilda, and then with Lily. Might as well talk about it with you, since a lot of stuff has happened in the Sydney Idol scene. Would you say the Sydney Idol scene is in a good spot right now compared to what it was when you started?
Well, that's lockdown.
Yeah.
So that was that's a low bar. Really low bar. Definitely is. Definitely compared to like 2020, 2021. Very much better. But like the community's gotten really big. There's so many more groups now. There's more shows happening each month. Can't keep up with it sometimes. As someone who loves to go to shows as well as perform in them, can't keep up. Too many. I feel like we're in a good spot, but it's a hard time at the moment. Also, like right. I think everyone's doing really well, but also it's hard to say how it's going. Like it's tough. We're in a tough spot.
I see. Yeah, like stuff, over the past oh my god, last week the announcement, stuff happened, but hopefully, you guys can recover. I'm really hoping the Sydney Idol scene, picks back up from everything that's happening.
I hope that, and I feel like we will, and I hope that we will, but like nothing is definite. Like we didn't know lockdown was gonna happen. Like we did the V-Day live happened at the start of the year, and everyone was like, yeah, look, everything's happening. We're gonna have shows. It's all great, and then we're stuck. So it's hard to say. You can't really predict it. Like I think a lot of groups are doing really, really well at the moment, but I don't want to think ahead because it feels like trauma. It's like I thought that once, and then the world collapsed a little bit. and I don't think the world's gonna. Well, I hope.
Hopefully not.
Again,
Oh my god.
Like, it's so hard to say what happened. Like, yeah, it's a hard question to answer. All I can say is I hope everything goes well and we can just keep going stronger and stronger and higher. But yeah.
I guess you did say you do attend shows and then you also perform as both an audience member and as also like a performer. What would you say like needs to be improved within the scene if there needs to be like any improvements?
I don't know if this classifies as an improvement, but let's see if I can answer the question. I think online content needs to improve. I think, and it's very fair. I came into the scene where online content was huge. That was the thing, and now it's in person. Things change. We're allowed to leave our houses. We're allowed to have shows. So I understand why we have lots of shows, but I feel like we need to also focus on online content because that's how a lot of people find our community. But also baby idols coming into the scene. We have so many strong groups and performers in the community, and which is amazing. Love that we have such a strong community. But some baby idols might come in and go, I need to be that. Which, it's a good overall goal to have, long-term goal. But you don't have to be that instantly. And, like, I was there when Fable debuted. Fable had experience because they were in Muse, so did Citrus. They had already been on stages, had a lot of experience. So, but I still was at the Fable show, and Fable debut show and Fable shows now, so different. They didn't sing as, like, they sing every song now. They did not do that at their debut show. So, like, I feel like pushing online content helps people that want to join the community as an idol and also in the pit. It helps them, like, get to know the community and also, like, have those stepping stones if they want to be an idol. I think having online content and, like, YouTube videos is really important. Christy's really been pushing it. I used to do cover on YouTube content. It's one of my goals for this year is to, like, get back into that. Because I think it is just as important to push, like, practice your dancing, put it on YouTube. Because also a lot of events now are application based. Like cons, Taibans, it's an application. And you need to have a video of yourself performing. You need to have that under your belt. And it's good to have options. It's good to continue doing it and see yourself grow. And then you have a new video to use for your application. And you could get into a Taiban. Could get into a live show. But that shouldn't be like the jump, the goal, the main goal. Stage first. No. Online content is really, really good. Gets your name out there. Other idols can, like, see you and be like, oh, you are really cool. Could get invited to a show, like to a one man being an opener or something. Like, it's not gonna just come out of thin air. If you make that online content, you can actually, like, start that up. And I know like, I was forced to do that due to my circumstances, but I do think it is a really good way to start. And I think while live shows are really awesome, and I love going to them and I like being a part of them, I think we need to improve the online content part.
Yeah, like Fable does, TikToks and even when I was like getting into the Sydney Idol scene, like being in America, what can I do? Do I have to like fly to Sydney to see a show? But at least Fable have like some live streams. Wooly had live streams. Like the first time I saw you like NoXia perform, well, like a full set was IDOLEYEZ when it was live streamed by Tude. So like it online content definitely helps, and like even outside of like live streams, like covers and stuff, definitely it's really
reach
good
more
for,
people.
yeah, the outreach for like international viewers and like even like people within the country, it definitely helps. So
Yeah, like I've met like idols from other states in Australia, and like they're some of my closest friends, even though I only see them once a year when they come up for Smash. But like we have that online content. I see all their online stuff, their posts, their covers, and I cheer them on. I'm not in the same state as them, but I can still see what they're doing, cheer for them, share it with people that follow me, and just like it's a great way to build a strong community. I think it's not just physical, it's also like online. And yeah, finding people overseas. Like I have so many American groups that I love. But one day hopefully I'll be able to see them.
Hopefully. Maybe Idol Fest this year. Who knows?
Maybe. I would love that.
I guess we can head into the future. The future. Is there like any bucket list things that you want to achieve as part of NoXia and as a soloist?
They're both very similar. It's just to have a show. For NoXia, like a one man with like an opening act, is like my next like goal. And for solo, it's to have a live in-person birthday show. Done 3 of them online. I would like to try and do the in-person. But yeah, that's the main thing.
NoXia has currently 2 members. Do you have plans to add any additional members to it?
We had to go on hiatus last year for a couple months for I had life stuff. Well, it's fun. So we had auditions opened during the hiatus. We had a few people audition, but unfortunately, a lot of things like plans fell through with the people we were talking to, and so just timing didn't happen. So unfortunately, it's still just the 2 of us at the moment. I would love to have new members. I think the aesthetic that we get to express and like play around with is really fun. And I think there's a lot of idols in the community that like that aesthetic. It's just it all like the creation of NoXia came down to timing. The same thing is here. Like it unfortunately hasn't happened, but like maybe if the timing is right, we could get new members. But at the moment,
what else? Oh, I asked Lily this. Might as well ask you. Original song when?
oh, that's a hard question. I would love to do original music for NoXia and also for myself as like we get to choose what we are expressing. We get to choose the lyrics, we choose what the story of a song is. But it's tough for me personally because like singing isn't my strongest skill. I'm still working on it. Very much a dancer first. I've definitely gotten better in singing than I before I debuted in NoXia. Definitely gotten better. But I don't. Maybe it's my anxiety talking. I don't really have like the confidence at the moment to like be like, yes, original music. I think I need to work on my singing first. But like I would love to do it. I just need to push myself and gain the confidence to actually like think about it.
We kind of went into it with like pushing more like online content, but is there, since we do have like upcoming idols and like idols that are currently doing activities and stuff, do you have like any general advice that you would want to give them?
My main advice would be like, and I've talked about this times. I actually talked about last year at Smash where Christy organized an idol panel, and I talked about this because I think it's a very important topic. Is don't be afraid to do songs and aesthetics that no one is covering. You don't need. There's no mold that you need to fit into to be an idol. I think making your own path is really important. Picking music, a sound, and aesthetic that you love is really important because it makes performing more fun, and the more fun you're having on stage, the easier it is to connect with the audience. If you bring the energy, they'll give you energy back. So, like, and you would introduce music to the pit that might know the artist but never heard that song before, might know the song and love it already, or they've never heard of the song. That happened with NoXia in our debut. No one knew what Knockout was. No one had ever heard Knockout, and they went insane. They went crazy for that song. And afterwards, we're like, hey, like, you guys really like that song. Did you know that song before? And they're like, nope, never heard of it. So, like, don't be afraid to branch out in what you want to cover, what you want to, like, advertise, like, your aesthetic. Like, I went for full-on cute, even though, like, wasn't really my thing, and then I finally found my footing with my witchy aesthetic. Like, you gotta find that pocket for yourself. And even in a group situation, you need to find, like, your little pocket in a group. Like, the group is important, but your individual, like, selves and aesthetics are also very important. And coming from that, don't be afraid to do songs. You don't have to do songs that everyone knows and everyone loves and other, like, I've covered, like, pretty iconic, well-known idol songs like Fansa and Kwai Kuteko Men, because it went viral on TikTok. But I also do a random VTuber song, which is no one understood. It was having fun. I was running around on stage. They started running around the pit. It was all good. Like, just having that love for what music and what you're doing is really, really important. So don't lose sight of that and try and find your little spot, your little pocket in the community.
Let's see. I did ask Lily this, but I think I'll ask you too. What would you say is the most difficult part with idol activities?
plainest words: singing, dancing, and not like, and smiling through being a sweaty mess. Those stage lights
are really bright.
Oh, they are strong, and you're trying to, like, dance and have energy and put all you can in your vocals, and you just sweat, and that's okay. You can just smile through it. I think that's the hardest thing, is like putting a lot of energy and practice. Like, you've put a lot of practice into this performance, so putting all your energy and all that you've done into a show and smiling through being sweaty, maybe making a mistake if you do, like, or, like, unfortunately if you sing a bit and your voice cracks, like, there's so many things that, like, could happen. You just gotta kind of keep performing. Like, I hate being sweaty. I hate it so much. It's the worst feeling for me. Like, I hate humidity, so, like, I hate that, like, feeling. So having being on stage and just smiling and, like, yeah, everything's all good, everything's great, and then getting off stage and going, ugh. Like, that might be very personal, but I find that as difficult. But also just, like, singing and dancing at the same time. Hard. And no one is saying it's easy. we all were like, this is hard. This is hard, and this is a hobby. Like we're doing this because we love it. But like, wow. So, I think those are the hard.
Yeah, like even performing, like definitely, it's really amazing that you guys can perform on stage and like definitely get the crowd going for sure. What do you plan on doing after all these idol activities?
I've been dreading this question. It's hard to say. I want to say that like I would still be coming to shows. Even if I'm not an idol, I'm not performing. I still want to come shows, support the community. I love being in the pit just as much as being on stage. So I hope after my journey has ended that I'm still going to be around and supporting as much as I can. Maybe like because I design all my solo costumes, I have designed and made myself. Our debut NoXia costumes were made by Sunny, but our new costumes were designed and made mostly by me. Maybe if any idols needed help with costumes, like Sunny is the god of idol costumes, but if Sunny is busy or can't or has a lot and can't help, like I could be there to help those who are like struggling with like a costume design or like, hey, how would I like make this? Do you have any tips? Like I would love to help with that because I have that experience. But definitely just being there for the community and supporting by coming to shows still. I don't think I could stop doing that. I love it too much.
I guess like the biggest retrospect question that I ask every single guest, what would the current you tell the Lace that was about to make her idol debut?
I would say don't stress about being perfect. You don't have to be perfect every time you perform. Accepting that making mistakes may happen will help you get through the times you make a mistake. If you just fixate on, and I did this so much early on, if you fixate on, oh, if I make a mistake, the set is ruined, the song is ruined. I stop thinking about that, then you can actually go, all right, if I make a mistake, think on your feet. How can I keep going? Don't freeze. Freezing is the worst thing you can do. So that would be just like accept that that mistakes may happen. Easier said than done, but like having that thought of like making mistakes is bad is gonna stop you from.
For sure. What is next for you, and what is next for NoXia? If there's anything that you want to promote.
I'm hoping to do more online content this year. I think I said a little bit earlier that like I'm gonna try and do YouTube videos, cover videos again. And I think NoXia were also thinking of doing a couple more hopefully YouTube videos. We don't have any shows at the moment. So I don't have a specific one to plug, but I'm excited for when we do have a show again. I love I'm itching. I'm ready to get back on stage. Especially because we started learning a while ago. Started learning a new song in our repertoire. So and I'm dying to perform it. It's so much fun. I love it, but we haven't been able to do it yet. So nothing concrete, but I can't wait for our next appearance at a show and that new song.
I see. Well, this concludes this episode of IDOLEYEZ. So if you want to follow Lace, oh no, wrong interface. Hang on, I have to. Okay, there we go. Follow Lace there. It has all her socials on her card, and also follow Lily too, cause there we go. And NoXia, there's NoXia's card and Lily's Instagram. But
Yay!
of course, we can't end it there. Of course, we have a segment that we, of course, call the worst pep talk ever, where I, for 1 minute, give the worst pep talk ever to our guests every single week. And I don't know why this is a segment. But yeah, here we go. Stopwatch. There we go. 1 minute on the clock, starting now. Lace, keep doing what you're doing. There, I can see there's definitely passion for your solo career and also for NoXia. Don't let that die. Keep going with what you're doing. I do want to see you guys perform that new song whenever it comes. I do want to see you perform with NoXia if there's more live streams. I do want to see you perform as a soloist because I haven't, when I knew this scene, I didn't see like any like live streams of just you. So I do want to see you perform, live. Honestly, just keep going. Just keep going with what you're doing. You're very talented, and you gotta just keep on going with everything, even if some stuff isn't great within the community. If some stuff, there's a lot of bad news, but you gotta just keep on trucking. So that's all I have to say, and that's it. That's about it. Just keep on trucking. 1:17. And of course, that was the worst pep talk ever, every single time. Every time.
It was very inspiring.
I don't know about that, but honestly, just keep doing what you gotta do. And like every single idol that I had from the Sydney idol scene, be it Christy from Melbourne, be it like Wooly, Lily, you, all the members of Fable, like you guys are strengthening that scene for sure. And even though people are leaving with different circumstances, you just gotta keep that culture going, keep that scene going, no matter what. So that's all. Yeah,
we're all working very, very hard.
Yeah.
Doing our best.
For sure, I can see. Yeah, and I think that's about it for this episode. I don't have a confirmed guest. Well, kind of. I can't say because they didn't send me the promotional material just yet, but it'll be next Saturday. Next Saturday, US. That'd be January 11th for the US, January 12th for Australia. We finished the set with NoXia, both Lily and Lace. We're gonna finish another set of another duo. We interviewed one of the members last year, and we're gonna finish that set with another member this year. So who's it gonna be? I don't know. Look through the archives and see who performed in a duo. So stay tuned for that. Other than that, follow Lace, follow NoXia, follow Lily, and see you next week. And take care, brush your hair, be kind, rewind. We'll be going to our ending screen. Bye.
Bye.